Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Outlet Podcast. Today we have joining us Jason Rowley, the Phoenix Suns president and CEO. Jason, thank you so much for lending some of your time to us today to give us some updates on things with the Phoenix Suns. But first and foremost, how are you doing?
You know what? I probably like a lot of people learning how to adapt and adjust and operate in a new environment. You know, from a personal standpoint, there's one of the things that's been terrific about it is I have a 15-month-old child at home. Actually, no, 14-month-old child at home. One of the things you don't even think about is when you have a young kid and you're off at home or you're off working at the office every day, how much time you actually spend away from them. And so it's been really nice to be able to spend a lot of time with my little baby and my wife here, my other kids, and our 3 dogs and all the things that come along with that. So like many people adapting to working from home, but I can tell you what's interesting is there's no shortage of work right now and things to be focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, things seem like they are just ramping up around the Phoenix Suns right now. One of the silver linings of working from home and social distancing is that we were able to move up the construction happening at Talking Stick Resort Arena and the renovation of what we are referring to as Project 201. So that's pretty cool. Give us a little bit of insight to how much that has helped this renovation and what's kind of going on behind the doors at Talking Stick Resort Arena.
Absolutely. So right now, even today, literally the big wall in the casino Arizona Pavilion that has welcomed so many of our guests over the last decades has been completely torn down. So if you walked into the building right now, it would look nothing like anything you'd recognize. And from a scheduling standpoint, there is a silver lining here. As we were originally scheduled, we were supposed to basically take over and start having construction start at about the 1st of May, really after our last concert in the building, which was the Eagles concert on April 27th when it was supposed to happen. We have literally moved up our construction schedule by an entire month. And obviously, the big concern is we have crews there that are working. We have some of our employees that are working. We're certainly have in place the appropriate protocols to make sure that social distancing is still occurring, which for construction work, thankfully, is something that can be done relatively easily, particularly on the demo side. I mean, you literally have these huge cranes and scoops and demolishing units that are inside the building with people working inside of them. So we're able to really ramp this up and put us in a position to where even if there's some delays in us through supply chain issues, being able to get certain components of the building, whether it be steel or technological pieces that need to be put in, there could be some built-in delays just because of COVID-19 that could happen. But being able to get in there a full month early is going to allow us to alleviate some of those concerns. And assuming everything ends the way we expect it to end, and we're back playing basketball and back having concerts for the beginning of the 2020-2021 season, that's exactly what we're planning for and anticipating to be the case. We'll be in a position of cutting the ribbon on the building and really showing off what that transformation has ended up looking like. And I think people are going to be really impressed.
Have you been able to go to the arena at all and see some of the construction happening? Because I got an inside photo sent to me earlier this week, and it is crazy how much they've already been able to accomplish and what's happening there.
Right, and yes, I have. I've been down there to take a look at it. For anybody who's ever worked construction or anybody who's ever had a house remodel, it's an interesting thing. The demolition is like the fastest thing to happen. It can be done, and it seems like demolition occurs, and the crews come in and clean stuff out, and before you know it, they've completely taken everything back to the studs and ripped out walls and ripped out ceilings. And then when that's all done, then you get the crews there to actually start doing the building of the new finishes and all the new spaces and all that. So again, right now, you would not want to walk around that building without a hard hat and steel-toed boots.
The practice court is being demoed. The locker rooms are being demoed. That wall you said when you walk into the pavilion, and then the video board has been taken down already. So give me a little bit of an insight to what each of those spaces will kind of look like after all of this transformation has happened.
All those spaces essentially, if you take, let's take the event level to begin with, where the practice court is, the current practice court, Suns locker rooms, a lot of our spaces for our event staff, all those spaces have already been demoed. They've been demolished, cleaned out, and what is going into each of them is on the east and the west side, underneath the stands are two courtside clubs that are going in that can each accommodate about 500 people. And then in the space that currently has our practice facility, our practice court is going to be what we're calling 1968, which is a really high-end club. So really excited, and that in and of itself will hold about 250 people. So we're going from a situation where on the event level alone, we currently have space for about 460, 480 people, and tripling that. So just on that event level, all that work will be done and ready for the 2021 season. Up in the pavilion, which is going to be the area that I think people will clearly see the most differences and just the most dramatic changes, other than in the bowl with the new technology and all that. But when you come into the pavilion, that entire facade wall that used to be, as I said, the Casino Arizona Pavilion wall, and with that huge video board you referenced, that entire round wall or curved wall was knocked out to give visibility into the bowl from the pavilion when you walk into the building. In that pavilion is going to be a 40 by 60 foot bar and new LED signage of almost 8,500 square feet on both the right and the left-hand side to welcome people when they come in. So really a very active, vibrant area. We're moving our broadcast booth for the pregame show and the halftime and the postgame show, which used to be previously on the eastern side of the building. That's being relocated into the pavilion as well. So we're really looking to take that pavilion area and activate it at a much higher level than we have in the past. We're changing that to where tickets will actually be taken.
Cameo.
This is.
Oh, I love this. Hi.
So Grace likes to come in and join me on conference calls every now and again. I'd say about 1 out of every 3, she decides to make a guest appearance. So
that's amazing. Hi, Grace. How are you? Hi.
Can you say hi? Yeah, so she likes to chew on rubber bands, which obviously isn't very safe. I probably shouldn't let her do that, but
I mean, kids will do kid things, right?
That's right. That's right. But she's been tons of fun, and she's usually she's really pretty good. And then she starts to squirm. Then I let her run away.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds about right.
As you move up to the very next level, you have what we're calling a North End bar. That's going to be a country western themed bar that everybody in the building will have access to. So again, another offering. So really just taking all these spaces that used to be much more closed off and opening them up and making them much more, giving a much higher level of access to a lot of these spaces for our fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this brand new video board in the center hung. Is going to be amazing to be able to watch replays and all the highlights of the game.
And so from a technology standpoint, we are not sparing any expense. We're upgrading, obviously, our center hung scoreboard for sure, but even the systems that operate those boards to a much higher level. And then in the concourse as well, we'll have 16 new boards where we'll be able to essentially message and activate from a video standpoint every space in the building, which is something that doesn't even remotely exist now. So
okay, so one thing that I feel like might get overlooked throughout this transformation, just because there's so many big ticket items that are going to be involved, are the seats in the actual bowl. But I was lucky enough, I got to test out the new seats, I think the week before we started working from home. And I can tell you firsthand, they're so comfortable. They feel like they have a little bit of a recline, so you actually can like lean back a little bit. The cushions and the back are so great. So have you tried those out too?
Oh yeah, so I'm glad you raised that. So we are changing out every single seat in the building. Will be brand new. What's even better about that is, particularly for the seats in the 200 level, which were the original seats from when the building was first built, that were just hard plastic, no cushion or anything at all. Those will all have cushions as well. So really, really taking these seats and trying to, again, make the experience as dramatically improved as we're able to for the greatest amount of people. And so, yeah, the seats are terrific. We spent a lot of time picking those out. We literally had multiple vendors send. I think we probably, at the end of the day, tested maybe 30 different configurations of seats to make sure that we picked the right ones.
Well, I think you guys did an amazing job. I'm looking forward to utilizing those seats throughout the upcoming season. Jason,
cup holders. The other one is cup holders. So we had some places in the building that previously did not have cup holders, and we're resolving that issue.
That's important. I think, like, it's small, it feels minor, but it is actually a big deal when you're at a game and you need somewhere to put, you know, especially with all the new bars and all the new amenities that we're going to have, great food and options like that. You need somewhere to put things.
Right.
All right, Jason, before we move on, is there anything else about Project 201 that you think we should know about that would help us out envision this transformation in our minds as it's happening?
You know, I'd still recommend people go to suns.com, because we do have a fair amount of visuals on there as well. But I really think more than anything is the look and feel of it is going to be truly a brand new building. People are going to walk into this arena, and, you know, particularly after a period of time, to be really candid, where you know, people might be a little bit nervous about coming out and going to large crowds, and hopefully we all get past that sooner rather than later. And I do think we will, but because this kind of slowdown and this sequestering of everybody of our community happened so early on, having this new beautiful building for people to come out and enjoy, I think it's really going to resonate with them. And the memory of what the building used to look like compared to when they walk into it, even the color schemes, the flooring is going to be much more dark and sleek. It's going to have completely different lighting throughout the concourses, higher ceilings, so it feels much more open. So I just think all around people are going to come in and be really surprised at what we're able to do with the time and energy we're putting into it.
Absolutely. All right, Jason, we're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors at muststopbullying.org. Parents and kids can address the issue of bullying in different ways, but we can all work together to help stop bullying. And muststopbullying.org is a great resource to learn about how to recognize when someone is being bullied, how to stop it, and how to prevent it. So for information, help, and tips, head on over to muststopbullying.org. All right, now I want to get some updates on our practice facility, because I know that's underway as well. What can you tell us about the developments over there?
In talking with Robert, he continues to be very confident that that building will be ready to go and operational by late July to early August of this year.
Wow.
That building, we're looking forward to the point in time where it's in a state that we can take crews through there and get some footage of it. And, you know, I'll tell you, it's going to be, again, something that I think is really going to resonate with the players. Something that we're looking forward to be able to utilize for some of our community activities, and just something that's really going to be a point of pride for that location. And again, being able to be in a position of being able to move the project forward in a pretty difficult time, but it's moving right along and expected to be really what Robert dreamed of when he first decided to do this, which is to be the best training facility in the NBA.
Yeah, I know when we were at the groundbreaking with Robert, he made a joke about how it is really hard to have big construction and development like this practice facility come in on time. So the fact that they've been able to stay on time and it's looking like that will open when we wanted it to open, what does that just say about the help of everyone involved in this project of making this happen?
You know, I think that's a great point, Lindsay. I think people recognize that working on these types of projects that are iconic for a community is something that people really want to be a part of. And so the construction crews we've worked with, the contracting companies we've worked with, which is Oakland Construction for the arena and Hunt AECom for the practice facility, they've really both brought their A games, and our managing partner Robert Sarver has been intricately involved in this process, and he is very adept at real estate development. It's something he has a background in, and so he's been able to bring that expertise to bear on these projects to make sure that they are staying on track, they are staying on budget, and that regard, he's been a terrific steward of both of those projects, and I think even more so in a really challenging environment. I do think that as all those teams have come together, it's been terrific to see. And candidly, it's similar to what I'm seeing from our own employee base right now during this crisis. To say that I'm both amazed, I'm not amazed because we have terrific people, but to say that I'm both amazed and proud of how our staff and employees have come together and still managed to try and keep our organization, our teams, our players, the work we're doing in the community, trying to do all those things in a difficult environment, working in a remote setting, and still trying to keep the Suns and the Mercury front of mind for people, are really giving their 100%, giving their all, and I couldn't be more proud of that.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that and just kind of the community support that the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury family have been able to provide during this time of COVID-19. I know we've been, within the NBA has been one of the front runners of making this a safe environment for everyone in our community. So what are some of the things that the Phoenix Suns have been able to do to help support our communities and keep everyone safe?
The thing that really struck me is just how expansive the need is. We've had crises in the past. This is different in the sense that it impacts everybody, every charity out there, every community organization out there, whether it be a nonprofit or a governmental organization, and in certain circumstances need where money isn't the answer. It's not that they need money, it's that they need equipment, or they need more manpower, or they need more materials, or hand sanitizers, or food, where just writing a check isn't necessarily gonna have an immediate impact. And so what we really tried to do immediately was start looking at opportunities to where we could have an impact on those needs, and had some success with our partner, our concession partner with Levy, donating about 6,000 pounds of food to Musically Fed, which is a group out of Scottsdale, working with St. Vincent de Paul to donate thousands of loaves of bread, so because they were literally making thousands of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches a day to give out to families in need. The work we've done with Boys and Girls Club, because what we learned from their executive directors that many of the first responders and medical professionals out there who have kids who are now living at home because they can't be at school, but those individuals still need to go out and do their essential functions out in the community. The Boys and Girls Clubs and Big Brothers and Big Sisters and so forth they filled the capacity during that setting. And so doing what we can to help those organizations divert resources and try and, we took some of our cleaning supplies at the arena and donated them to Boys and Girls Club because they were running so short on those supplies. So just, things that you got to be creative, and you got to adapt, and you have to try and meet the needs on the fly and as they come. And I have to tell you, I'm proud of everything you've done. I wish we could do more. You feel like no matter what you do, there's still more and more of a need. But in those kind of circumstances, all you do is you do the best you can and try and help out as many people as you can.
Yeah, I think what's really cool to see is that the support for the community is coming from so many different avenues. We've got the organizations like the Phoenix Suns and Mercury giving back, the NBA as a whole is giving back, and then down to individual players are able to give back. I know Devin Booker was one of the first ones on our team who pledged $100,000 to the relief efforts, and then the Phoenix Suns Charities was able to match that donation, and our community stepped up and supported that cause as well, which has been wonderful. And then Kelly Oubre Jr. started giving out basketballs to kids so that they were able to do some things at home, keep them busy, and have those active workouts and lifestyles. So what has that been like for you to see just how across the entire NBA, everyone has come together to support one another?
It really is. We talk about the Suns family and the Mercury family and the NBA family, but it truly is. And when you see people who don't have any, at the end of the day, don't really have any more obligation to anybody else than anybody else does, but knowing that they have a platform that can help others to a higher level step up and do those things, and particularly for some younger men to show that maturity and step up and do the right thing when there's clearly a need is something that I'm very proud of, and hopefully everybody else in the organization who sees that is proud of that, and people see that as an example and follow suit. I think that's an important thing, that when you're viewed as a leader and you're viewed as a role model, you have an obligation to step up and fill gaps where they exist, and to see our players do that has been terrific.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take another break to give a little bit more love to our sponsors at muststopbullying.org. Now, guys, you may be thinking that during this time of social distancing, you don't have to worry about whether or not your child is being bullied or bullying others, but we all know cyberbullying is a type of bullying that happens through social media, text messages, or emails. And if you want to know more about how to protect your kids or yourself from cyberbullying, just head to muststopbullying.org. They have a lot of great tips and information. All right, Jason, before I let you go, I want to get to know a little bit more about what you're doing during this time to keep yourself busy outside of work. I know we touched a little bit about getting a little more family time. What are some of the activities you guys are doing to keep your mind and your bodies healthy?
Yeah, I feel really fortunate. We're able to go out. We go out every morning, every night, and do a nice bike ride. We live really close to a golf course, and normally I think the course doesn't like to have people out there, but when they shut down at night, you see all sorts of people out there biking and walking with their families. So we're certainly doing that. The one thing I tried to do, and I tried to implore this to our folks at the Suns, is try and maintain as much of a level of normalcy as you're able to. So, I've made it a point of making sure that our executive team has a video conference call every morning together. All of my normal standing weekly meetings that I would have with different members of the executive staff, I've kept all those meetings. We're doing them telephonically, obviously. And I've really encouraged all of our leaders to do exactly that, to make sure that we are staying connected with all of our employees, making sure that if we have anybody out there who's struggling, that we know about it, and we can do what we can to help alleviate that. And we do have a fair amount of younger employees who have moved here from out of state to take a job with the Suns, and maybe they're living by themselves in an apartment without anybody around them, and that can be a little bit isolating. And so, doing what we can to make sure that people are still staying connected, even if it's not, it's not person to person or in person, it's virtually at this time. And what's interesting is I keep on getting feedback again and again from so many people that I talk to within the organization about how people are feeling like we've actually drawn closer as an organization, and people feel like we've pulled together. And that to me is the fundamental identifier of a strong culture and a good group of people. That when in a time of crisis they bind together rather than fall apart, is really to me the best indicator of the kind of people you have. And there's a lot of issues to resolve and a lot of things that you have to think about and try and think through, and some tough decisions that have to be made, and all those things that come along with it. But again, more than anything, it's seeing everybody in the organization, including you and Tony here, who's the producer here on this, who's behind the scenes, doing what we need to do to continue to work hard and show our fans and our community that we're still here. We still care, and we'll certainly still be here when we're all past this, and we can all celebrate getting back together and getting back to as much of a level of normalcy as we can.
Yeah, Jason, one of the things that I heard recently, which I thought was a really cool story and just shows how much of our leadership is leading by example from the top down, is that a few weeks ago, when everything started to happen and the construction began at Talking Stick Resort Arena, you were at the arena in gym clothes, helping the mailroom guys out, moving boxes, helping our IT departments move computers. And I thought that was really cool because we had a couple employees who were there doing the same thing, and to see somebody at your level in there getting your hands dirty and doing all of the work to help out. I think it just meant a lot. So I really appreciate you leading by example for all of us, for sure. And then, of course, I know everyone who got to see you and experience that firsthand said the same thing. So we appreciate the leadership that we have here within the Suns organization as well.
Well, I appreciate that. It's, I'm seeing leadership every day by people in our organization. It's something that, I'll never forget as a leader myself. And if there's one thing the military taught me, you can't lead from the rear. So, to me, it's when I do those things, it's no different than I would expect out of everybody else. And it's the same type of commitment that I've seen out of our employees. So, they're all the heroes as well. So hopefully we can all just keep it up.
All right, 2 final questions. The first one, are you reading any books? Are you watching any shows or movies right now? Give us some recommendations so that we can kind of replenish those movies and shows and books that we've all already been going through.
So I'm embarrassed to say we have binge watched Tiger King.
Oh, what'd you think of it?
I have to admit, it was like many have described it. It's like watching the train wreck you can't turn away from.
Yeah.
Into about the 3rd episode, I was thinking to myself that I just felt too dirty to continue watching it. Maybe I'd stop, but I still managed to fight my way through the remaining episodes. And at the end of the day, it's an entertaining, interesting show for sure. In terms of reading any books right now, I wish I had time to, but I literally have not. I've got a couple sitting here that if I had the ability to, I'd spend some time. One's the Warren Buffett Way that I've literally had for about 10 years, and I've never had the time to read it. I think I've highlighted about 5 pages, but like I said, it's been an amazingly hectic time. So I've been so focused on just trying to deal with the issues at hand that I don't know about you, but I really miss sports, and not just our own. When you don't have the Masters to watch and the Kentucky Derby and baseball, it goes without saying basketball. And I'm a fan of UFC and certainly a fan of boxing. Again, sports will act as a unifying component of our society, and again be something that brings people together. And I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. Okay, so the last thing I've got is just your message to Suns fans and how they can continue to work through this and stick together, and we'll see them on the other side.
That's really it. I want our fans to know that the Suns organization, we are here for you. We are thinking about you. We do care about you. We still want to come back and fulfill our mission, which is providing the finest in sports and entertainment, and be able to really serve as that pillar in the community and focal point for people to really rally again and come back together when we're past this.
Absolutely. I feel so much like a fan right now because I'm not able to be at the arena and see kind of this transformation happen in real time, that it's almost a little bit more exciting for us too who work for the organization, because by the time we come back, we'll be able to see even more of the transformation that's happened already. So I think we're all really looking forward to that. I'm really excited to getting back to what was once normal for us. Jason, I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk with us and give us some insight on what's happening with the Phoenix Suns organization. I hope you also stay safe and healthy and enjoy the time with your family.
Thank you. Same to you. I appreciate the time.
Guys, we'll see you later.
Keep the great work.